Hey everyone, Karsten Madsen here, coming to you from beautiful Whistler, BC with XTERRA Connect. Right now I'm here to talk a little bit about what we should be doing training-wise. And first we're going to start with the bike. With a lot of the uncertainty around when we're going to race and what are the adequate zones to train in and what to do, I wanted to shed a little light on that. Some of the things that I personally have been doing and have personally been prescribing for the athletes that I'm coaching. I think right now there's actually a large amount of time of constructive and consistent work that can be done with no race to interrupt a long theme of training. And so the theme I've worked with the last month or so now is kind of a strength element to it. And so the way that I accomplish that on the bike is through lots of climbing. You might be saying, well, I don't have mountains, so what am I going to do? And I grew up in the flatland of Ontario, and so for me it was always using the gears on the bike to sometimes mimic a hill. And so the workout that I suggest and what I'm going to talk about here is called an overgear-based workout. And essentially it's where we're looking for a specific RPM and an effort and intensity. And so you're after basically to get an RPM of 50 to 60 up about a 4 or 5% grade. Now if you don't have that, you might just be able to use a flat road and put it in the 5311 on a very high gear. Now the next part is, well, how do I know what interval range to start with? And I suggest starting at 2 minutes. 2 minutes is, a very accomplishable amount of time. Trust me, your legs will burn. But again, it's to build out the ability to hold a low RPM and hold a steady rate of either power as well as heart rate. Now, if you don't have power, how can you make sure you're staying honest? Well, repeatability through this session is trying to use the same strip of road or gravel path or trail, etc., and marking a location of where you got to. And then on each rep, you can complete and know that you're staying honest by making it to that same point. The great thing about this set is it has all sorts of build-out options. So you can go from 2 minutes, then into 3 minutes, and then the amount of times that you do it. Typically like to start at 6, and I've built this thing out to doing 16 by 2 minutes. And then subsequently moved to 3-minute intervals and built that out to doing, again, 16 by 3 minutes. So again, it has a long way that you can go, and plus you can tack on, after you have kind of done the demands of the overgear work, you can take away the restriction and add in some tempo-based riding. So again, one of the sets have looked like for myself is doing 10 by 2 minutes at the overgear restriction of RPM, and then adding in, after the 10 reps are done, adding in a 10 to 20 minute at tempo. Basically for myself to prove that I'm still able to keep up, the tempo number pace, which is 80% of FTP. Now, if a lot of these numbers and things that I'm saying are making no sense to you, I think it's a really cool time to reach out to this large network of XTERRA coaches that we have. You can find one potentially in your area, or if not, you can use the website to find someone who you have known before through racing, or just reach out to someone random. There's a bunch of smart people who can explain a lot of this and how to target it for you. Some of the other things with this session as well to keep in mind, and these are more general tips that apply to biking, but the idea of relaxation of the upper body. Again, when we're racing, and especially on the bike portion, we've just got out of the swim, we've utilized our arms, and right now all that we need to be worrying about is drawing as much power to the legs as possible. And you'll see this a lot when people get tired. They get into head bobbing and their shoulders come up really high. I think with a lot of these sets, which are great, is you can have these specific cues that you work on. And so one of them is, I like to always think, relax the upper body and make good rotations through the cranks. So thinking circles as you're pedaling. It helps basically draw all the energy that your body is using is going towards the legs and not any of this rocking back and forth and whatnot. when you watch some of the best cyclists in the world, you see they're very still in the upper body and not having a lot of movement be wasted. So again, these are some things to keep in mind. But again, everyone, happy training and stay safe. Thanks so much.